Let's talk now about one of the most famous short stories Edgar Allan Poe wrote, The Black Cat, a story of guilt, murder, and deception. This story is presented as a first-person narrative with an unreliable narrator. We know that the narrator is already condemned and outside the story. Our main character loves animals and lives with his wife and many pets in his house. His favorite pet is a big black cat named Pluto. They are always together, very fond of each other. Unfortunately, though, the narrator becomes an alcoholic. And one night, he comes home completely drunk. He tries to seize the cat bites him. As some kind of consequence, he pulls out a penknife and gouges one of his eyes out. From the day on, the cat obviously avoids him, but it's not enough, and somehow the narrator seems to be tormented by the cat. One morning, he grabs the cat, goes to his garden, and hangs the cat from a tree. That night, mysteriously, his house catches fire, and everyone in his family is forced to flee and leave the premises. The next morning, the narrator tries to see the damages and finds out that between the ruins, there's just one wall that stood up. On that wall, there's the image of a cat with a rope around his neck. Of course, that's incredibly unsettling, and it's hard for the narrator to just live with it. But in time, he manages it, and he even finds a logical explanation for what happened. After a while, he finds in a tavern another black cat that looks exactly like Pluto, except from one detail. This cat has a white patch of fur on its chest, and this white patch looks strangely like a rope. Somehow this makes the narrator kind of wary, and he doesn't like to be in the same place at the same time with this cat. But one night he's drunk again, and he's trying to get into his cellar with his wife. The cat makes him trip on his feet, and that of course enrages him immensely. The narrator grabs an axe, intending to kill the cat again, but this time his wife is quicker and defends the cat. Even more furious, the narrator kills his wife and then tries to find a place in the house where to conceal the body. One of the walls in the cellar wasn't exactly stable, so he takes out bricks and inserts the corpse right there before putting the bricks back on. The cat is nowhere to be seen. After a while, police comes investigating and trying to see why and where is his wife, which of course disappeared. But they find nothing, and they are just about to leave and close the investigation. This is an incredible moment for the narrator, because the narrator feels finally safe. He thinks he got away with murder. And the last day that police is there, he even boldly or stupidly decides to brag about the sturdiness of the wall behind him, the wall where he hid something. Exactly in that moment when he bangs on the wall, a screeching sounds come out. And of course the police runs and tear it down, just to find out his wife's corpse. But that's just not that. On her head, there's a black cat with a missing eye. I would like now to focus on a couple of themes faced in this short story. Of course, there are many more, but in this case, let's just talk about two. The first one is, of course, alcohol. Alcohol is pervasive in the whole story, and the narrator seems to blame alcohol for basically everything he did. And this is true, but this could also be part of a wider genre that is the temperance genre. The temperance movement was a movement focused on educating public on the dangers of alcohol, and it tried to push the legislature to prohibit alcohol at all, even if laws were already kind of strict and controlled the production and distribution of alcohol. Of course, that's a major issue socially and in the story, but at some point of the story, more than once, especially towards the end, Edgar Allan Poe tries to show us that alcohol is not the only one to blame, and that there's something inherently bad in our narrator. The other theme is more subtle, and it's the theme about justice. Of course, we know that the narrator is writing from his cell, so he's in jail, but the thing is that the justice wheels couldn't turn until our narrator did the worst he could, so he killed a woman, his wife. Consider that at the time, it wasn't illegal to kill an animal, nor a woman. And somehow the story questions this idea and underlines the vulnerability of the weakest part of society, which at the time were people of color, animals, and of course, women. It should sound unreal now, but unfortunately, domestic abuse is still present in the society, and that somehow makes the whole story interesting and reliable for many people. I hope that those two small ideas were food for thoughts, and I hope that you enjoyed this small venture in such a creepy story in such an unsettling time as the one we are in now. And I'm going to see you next time. Bye.